and welcome to It Is My Life show with Felicity. Today's topic is effects of domestic violence on the family. And to discuss this today, we are so lucky we have a Catholic priest in the house. He is the Judge of Marriage Tribunal in Nsukka Diocese of Enugu State in Nigeria. He's also a lecturer of canon law at Spiritan International School of Theology, also in Enugu State in Nigeria. He's also a partnership director of education at Nsukka Diocese. He's also a parish priest of St. Teresa's Parish, which is Owerri Obukwa. I'm going to be crucified for that name, I know. Please forgive me.
Obukwa in Nsukka.
In Nsukka as well. And he's also the author of 3 books. 2 of them are quite relevant to the topic we'll be discussing today. And they are, one is Declaration of Nullity of Marriage. The other one is Concepts of Freedom in Marriage. He is Reverend Father Dr. Willie Odo. Please welcome him to the show. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, Father, let me start by asking you, tell me, what do you do as a Judge of Marriage Tribunal?
As a Judge of Marriage Tribunal, I am in charge of declaration of nullity of marriage. In that case, I have to investigate the status of marriage to see whether it is a false marriage. If it is a false marriage, I have to declare in the name of the church that that marriage never existed, which is the marriage is null and void from the beginning. But if it is a true marriage, I have to uphold the integrity of such a marriage.
Do you know, Father, this is like, when I heard this, when you told me for the first time, as we're talking about you coming to this show, all the way from Nigeria, here in London, I'm so happy to have you, you don't know. And to me it was strange, and I'm thinking, I don't think that 95 or 99% of Catholics know about this. What is a false marriage?
Well, a false marriage has to do with people and the process of marriage. When wrong people are into marriage, it is a false marriage. When also marriage is contracted through a wrong process, it is a false marriage. If we are talking of people, wrong people in a marriage, such people include people who lack the use of reason. Such people are people who have the psychological or psychiatric incapacity, and in that case they are not qualified to enter the marriage. People who also who lack the age, the right age to enter into marriage. When they enter marriage, they are wrong people in marriage. People also who are important, in that case they cannot fulfill the duty of marriage in terms of procreation and education of children. Such people are wrong people in marriage. And people also who exclude children in marriage, who exclude fidelity in marriage, who exclude the permanence of marriage, they are wrong people in marriage. If we are talking of wrong process, we are talking of the way people enter into marriage. For example, if people are forced into marriage, then the person, out of fear of parents, fear of friends, fear of whatever authority, enters to marriage without the freedom of choice. That's a wrong way of entering into marriage. Then when people are deceived into marriage, people lie in order to get somebody into marriage. You hide something. That is a wrong process of entering into marriage. These and other ways, what I know, it involves wrong people and also wrong process.
So these are what constitute false marriages?
False marriages.
According to the Catholic Church?
Yes, in the mind of the Catholic Church and according to the law of the Church.
This is so interesting. I don't think, like I said, I don't think 99% or 95% of people or Catholics actually are aware of this, because if they are, there's lots of people. As an example, stayed in my abusive relationship for the length of time I did because I felt the church would not let me, leave because of the church. Although things have progressed, maybe when I was being abused, these laws haven't been passed.
They were already there many years ago.
Well, when was these laws passed?
It's only probably because the law had been there since 1983. And even
no way.
Yes, the 1983, and even before 1983, we have another code of canon law called the 1917 Code, which also includes this aspect of declaration of knowledge of marriage, where the marriage is forced. The church doesn't condone forced marriages.
Oh my goodness, because I fell into two categories you just mentioned. My marriage was forced or arranged, and then I was probably not old enough to get married, and then I got stuck there for years because if I'd known about this law,
Yeah, it was ignorance on your part. Yours would have been a forced marriage.
Oh my goodness.
And would have been declared forced.
So even if they've had a wedding in the church, it's still forced?
Of course, the wedding is fake wedding when we know that wrong people entered into such marriage.
Yes.
And we know that it was followed by wrong process. So the wedding didn't exist, even if it was done with flamboyant ceremonies and everything.
Oh my goodness. So how do you actually go about annulling a marriage?
How I go about annulling marriage is that the couple or one of the parties in the marriage would come up to say, look at what I'm going through. A lot of times there might have been separation already after having encountered a lot of violence in the marriage, domestic violence, maybe abuse and all these, and a lot of things happening. Then the person after separation would come and say, oh, I went in the church, I want to be freed from that marriage because it was forced marriage. I said, what? Then through the investigation I make, I will be able to find the ground of nullity of such marriage. For example, the person may tell me I was deceived into marriage. Somebody who married me had a prior bond, which means the person had another wife and tricked me into the marriage. I didn't know. It might be the person who would say, okay, the person who married me is important. And I didn't know that. I realized it only after I married him. Okay, the person who married me is psychiatric. And hid it from me. So I was deceived into marriage. And I realized it. And the effect is that I'm suffering violence. The effect that is beating me. The effect that is nagging me always. The effect that is abusing me. The effect of that. So when the person realizes and couldn't stay married, the person had to leave, quit the marriage, and comes to me to report. Look at, I cannot. I waited, but this marriage I had discovered is false because all these things were there. I never knew that, and I discovered it as I'm living with the person.
I think it really does make a lot of sense that people should not be forced to stay in a condition that they were lied to take part in because of religion. It's just not acceptable.
Sure, the church abhors such violence, such uncomfortable condition.
Yeah.
Because it's not the person's choice.
Of course.
That's lack of freedom.
So please tell me about a typical case. Like, is that a case that people have come to you? What has happened? Like there was abuse in marriage, for you to annul the marriage. Now, what kind of abuse did they come to you with, and how did you go about annulling that?
We have many aspects of abuse in marriage, including the physical abuse, which will include beating, beating, sometimes restriction of the person. In some cases, they will lock the person up.
You lock somebody up in the house?
Yeah, lock somebody in the house. You say the person will not be going out because you don't want the person to communicate with people and all this. And you say, this is my wife, and I have the right, it's your property, and I have the right to deal with her as I want. Then you can also restrict the person's movement, saying, okay, you cannot go there, you cannot go there, you cannot go there. These are abuses, and you can also suffer sexual abuse, for example, also. Okay, the verbal abuses and all these. So we take such type of abuses, which is physical. Also, abandonment is also an abuse. We take such abuses to be sign of somebody who doesn't know that he has to respect the right of the partner in marriage. And the marriage law says that both parties have to mutually share the rights and obligation of marriage in freedom. So do we have typical cases like that? We have also difficulties of deceit, for example.
Do you have a case, or have you had any case where, because there are children in marriages or in relationships like this, in abusive homes, that witness abuse, and I know trauma children go through. Have you had any case where the children actually come to beg you, please, Father, you need to tell my parents to separate because they're going to kill each other, or one person will be killed? Have you had any such case? Yeah,
I have had a case like that, because also part of the work I do in the tribunal is also separating the spouses, where we don't need an annulment of such marriage, and we need to separate the spouses, the persons. Then the church has a law that guides that. And I have had a case where grown-up children, actually the first child was already graduate, and up to 5 of them, they came up to me, along with the parish priest of their parish, along with their parents. All of them came to me to ask, look, Father, we want the tribunal to separate our parents because they are trying to kill each other. And we would love them to stay for us. We would like them to live, to be alive for us. And they signed the form for the separation. The children signed. And also
so what children signed now? What did the couple do?
The couples also signed.
They agreed.
Yeah, they agreed. Yes, and such a case is a case actually that has been handled by different people, and they couldn't stop them from such violence against each other.
Yes.
So then I had to succumb to separating them for their own good and for the good of the family, because all of them are affected. But the parents and the children are affected in the marriage.
So now, which means if the church approves of annulling marriage, then, like you said, if I was going to ask what the church thinks about divorce. So if the marriage is forced in the first place, there will be no divorce because it wasn't real marriage in the first place.
Yeah. So the church is not against divorce where such divorce is meaningful. Meaningful in the sense that when somebody finds that his or her marriage is wrong, his or her marriage shouldn't have borne, the person can pursue divorce in the civil sector. And if when the person comes to us and we see that he or she went for divorce in the civil sector in the right way, according to the situation, the right situation, we would also follow it up by declaring his or her marriage null and void in the church.
So, Father, how does the Catholic Church now go about preventing domestic violence in relationship?
Well,
its congregations there.
Yes, that is very important, because even the work I'm doing has always an attachment to solving the problem of domestic violence. The church abhors and condemns domestic violence, and also goes a long way to restoring victims of domestic violence. So the church has two functions with regard to this area. First of all, prevention of domestic violence. Secondly, restoration of victims. Because you know that domestic violence ruins marriage and ruins family. And that, yes, it ruins marriage and
ruins lives as well, not just the marriage,
ruins
as an entity,
human beings.
A person, a people.
Yes, so the church takes family as a very big institution, important institution in society, because marriage, first of all, is the seed of the family, and family is the seed of the society. So the church sees the welfare of the family as utmost in its grade of importance. So what the church does in trying to prevent domestic violence is that the church pays attention to educating people. Educating, for example, the would-be parents in marriage, like marriage, pre-marriage class, marriage counseling. Then also the tribunal as also a source of solving the problem of domestic violence. There are many people that have been traumatized, but the tribunal now relieves them of such situations that have
Father, you mentioned people
cause them trouble.
Preventing abuse when people come for marriage preparation classes.
Yes.
Isn't that a bit on the late side? Isn't like a way, because now they've kind of agree to get married. That's what they
they agree to get married, then they start learning before they enter into marriage.
Do you think people should actually learn about healthy relationship first, before they actually think about getting married in the first place?
Yeah, it's good to learn about healthy relationship. You have to know with whom you are relating. Okay, you have also to know how to relate with the person.
Sure, yes.
You have to know these aspects. But also, relationship ordinarily is different from marriage relationship. Because marriage relationship is termed to be permanent.
Yes.
And indissoluble. In that case, this is somebody you're going to live throughout life. And there are actually ways. There are processes one has to follow in order to live well with a marriage. Marriage has conditions. For example, sharing of rights. A man should know that this woman has rights. This woman should know that this man has rights. And equal rights in a marriage. Okay, they should also know the obligations they have for each other and for the children. They should also know the responsibilities. These are the things people need to be educated on. So that when you educate people thoroughly about marriage, knowing the right of each other, they will be prepared
before they actually
they will be prepared, so that such education would actually prevent domestic violence, because you know, oh my God, this person has rights.
True.
Oh my God, I have got to respect this person. Oh my God, I have got to assist this person, care for this person, love this person, show affection. These are certain things many who enter into marriage very ignorant of. A lot of times. That's why we make time to prepare them before entering into marriage.
So do you think that, well, I don't think so, but do you think that most of Catholic priests are aware of these conditions and annulling marriage?
Well, some priests, or many, know, and they should know actually, although some of us are professionals, that is our area, which means we also carry most of the priests along in educating them and telling them, look at how they have to handle the operation, as those who have such situations could be referred to us, where it is impossible for them to continue hanging around in a marriage that is untrue, a marriage that is invalid. They should refer them to us so that they will be set free, so that the woman can leave that bondage, or the man, if he is the victim, can also leave that bondage and continue his own life.
So, of the cases that come to you for review or annulment, what is the percentage you would say that you actually say, you know what, I'm going to annul this, you guys, you can try again, you work something out, or get counseling?
Yes. Among the cases that come to me, after examining most of the cases, I have been able to experience that up to 90% goes for annulment. Just 90%? About 90, yes. About 10% are cases where I would refuse to fix in for judicial process of annulment, because some of them are cases that are reconcilable. Then I would always make effort to go into reconciliation processes, and sometimes I do succeed, sometimes you may not succeed. So we have up to 90% for annulment, and it's increasing almost every day.
That's a huge percentage. That's really a huge percentage, really. Is there a way, like if you have people come to you and or maybe for counseling, I don't know, you just to look at marriages before you decide to be annulled or not to be annulled. It's like either this or not that. So those you don't send for annulment, do you refer them to organizations or professionals who will help them with counseling to sort out the problems and make sure they have harmony and love in the home? Yeah,
the tribunal also does a type of counseling, because we have three major functions. We do reconciliation, we do separation while the marriage remains, and we do annulment of marriage, which is a total declaration of nullity. So in that case, we also do counseling. However, sometimes, because of one of time, we can also refer them to some special priest who can help them. Most of the cases are the cases that have become impossible for the pastors, the parish priests in their local areas. Then they bring them to the diocese, which is the climax actually, where you can either go for annulment or you reconcile. Where it is not possible for reconciliation at the diocesan center, it means it has to go for annulment usually. That is just the usual thing. Yes.
Fantastic, Father. How can people reach you or contact you if they need help? For that help, probably getting your books or getting some advice from you. How can people reach you?
Yeah, they can always reach me through the diocesan secretariat, because the tribunal office is a huge office in the diocese. Once you mention Diocese of Nsukka Tribunal, that is already me there. You're contacting, because the tribunal is always open for everybody. Everybody who wants actually to look into the situation of his marriage or her marriage. Some people don't know the situation they find themselves. We are the people to tell them, look at what we can do. We can tread through reconciliation. We can also tread the path of separation.
I'd like you to correct the name of your parish, please. What is you are the parish priest of?
Yes, I am a parish priest of St. Teresa's Parish, Owerri Obuba, in Nsukka, found in Enugu State of Nigeria.
Of Nigeria, fantastic. I'm sorry, everybody, for not getting that name right. So, Father, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming. It was a pleasure having you, and it was a good thing you were able to come to meet us in London than me going to meet you there in Nigeria.
Great.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to share this opportunity with you, and I want to say thank you for this great work you are doing. It's a great gospel, it's good news for the entire world, because many people have been victims of domestic violence, and some are victimizers too. So that's why in a family, that's why the entire family is concerned about domestic violence, because if you are not a victim, you can be a victimizer. So in that case, by this type of awareness and education, I believe domestic violence will be reduced drastically, and a lot of liberation will come to people, but at the family level and at every angle of our life. That's great news.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And now it's time for Felicity Recommends. Wow, I'm blown away by this information. Based on what we just discussed with the father here, I'm going to recommend, especially Catholics, if you're a Catholic woman or man and your partner or your husband or your wife has used religion or the Catholic Church or teachings to hold you down in an abusive relationship or other areas, now you've mentioned you've just heard what the father said, now you know that the marriages that are forced, you know what to do. You can get help. Ask your parish priest to help you. If he's unable to help you and you want to contact to reach Father here, Father Willie Odo, you can reach us. Email me and we'll be able to contact him for you and pass you information so they can get help. So you do not have to suffer abuse or any of the list of reasons why a marriage is forced because you're a Christian, because you're a Catholic. You don't have to go through any of that. And I think that's all we have time for today. So remember our website, www.itismylifeshow.com, and to contact us, info@itismylifeshow.com. And also on our YouTube page, visit us, and I'd like you to remember to SLS, which means to subscribe, to like, and to share our page with people so that together we all can work towards eradicating domestic violence. So until next time on It Is My Life Show with Felicity, live with love.